Greetings, everyone. Glenn Kellaway coming to you from the basement. Happy Mother's Day. I thought it appropriate to talk about mothers on Mother's Day. We all love our mothers, and I love my mothers. And today I'm going to show you my Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention collection because I love the mothers so much. I just wanted to go through some vinyl that I have. I think I've got like 13 or 14 vinyl records, and I've got close to 60 CDs. So I'm not going to show you all the CDs, but I picked out some favorites and some couple of box sets, and yeah, and a book. First of all, if you're a Zappa freak like myself, this book is a must-have. The Big Note. It is by a gentleman by the name of Charles Ehrlich. I can't imagine how much work went in to producing a book as extensive as this. I've never seen anything like it. 760 pages of every record, song, release, in-depth reporting on each album and each song. I mean, just an amazing piece of work. Incredible album. This is not a biography by any means. It's a resource. And so if you're really into Zappa, this is a must-have book if you don't have it. And if you're into Zappa to that extent, you probably have the book. So anyway, that's the books. Let's get into the music. That's the most important part. I'm going to go from first to last, maybe. I did write down the ranking of my top 10 Zappa albums. I might reveal that at the end here. The first album, Freak Out. This is a reissue of the album. The reissues are really good. They sound amazing. Zappa Records. Double album. I think Blonde on Blonde beat it by about a week as the first rock album double album ever released. The funny thing about this album is Frank and the Mothers were playing at a club in LA, might have been the Troubadour, and Tom Wilson, the producer, was there and saw them, and they were playing a blues song, and he immediately called his label and said, "We're signing these guys, the next great blues band." And then he didn't hear anything about them. He got them on a contract, went into the studio, and they came up with Freak Out. Talk about who they freaked out. I would think it would be Tom Wilson. Next, my probably one of my favorites. My favorite early Zappa album, I would say, is Absolutely Free. This was the second album. This has Brown Shoes Don't Make It on it. This album just really appealed to me when it came out. Again, this is a reissue. Love the label on that. Double album. Very cool cover. I don't know what appealed to me about the Mothers. I discovered Frank very early on. I had a friend who, for some reason, was into it really early with the Freak Out album. She was kind of always into in those days, we didn't have the internet or anything, and it was all word of mouth to find out about new bands and stuff. And for some reason, she was really into it and turned me on to that album, and it's crazy. And then I got Absolutely Free when the second album came out, which was the first one I bought, and just fell in love with it. I saw the Mothers in 1968 at Convocation Hall in Toronto, which is the hall where they do all the graduation ceremonies and stuff like that. It's a big auditorium, old theater. It's really, really nice, cool place. There's been lots of bands and stuff play there over the years, but that was pretty cool seeing them back then, the original Mothers. And I saw John Prine there a couple times, and I don't know. I saw Stephen Fearing opened for Michael Hedges. I don't know if you guys know who Michael Hedges was, an amazing acoustic guitar player, died tragically in a car accident. He was incredible. But yeah, lots of cool stuff at that place. Next, Chungas Revenge. I don't have to say a lot about these albums. I'm just going to show them quickly. The ones that really stick out to me, I'll mention a bit more about. Burnt Weenie Sandwich, I absolutely love. Was released in 1970. It has White Port and Lemon Juice, WPLJ. Frank was a huge fan of doo-wop music, and grew up on that. And it figures prominently in his music over the years. And White Port and Lemon Juice is an old kind of a doo-wop pop rock and roll song, and they do an incredible version of it. White Port and Lemon Juice. Yeah, 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 yeah. I should have been in the band. One Size Fits All, another pretty good album. I'll give this one one you might want to consider purchasing if you're looking to start up in a Frank collection. My favorite, Hot Rats, incredible album. Really moving into the jazz fusion type thing. Great performance from Captain Beefheart on a song called Willie the Pimp, the second song. It's the only song with vocals in it. And Frank plays the most incredible guitar solo in that song. Whoa. Whoa. My least favorite period of Zappa, 1970, 1971, when Flo and Eddie from the Turtles joined the band. The humor just doesn't appeal to me. The playing, although there was some really inspired playing at times, it just doesn't overcome I just wasn't into that whole period. And this is from that period. Larry Graves just lent me the box set from 1971, 8 CDs, and I listened to a few of them, and I enjoyed some of the stuff, but some I just didn't. I would love to be a Frank Zappa completist. It's almost impossible with 128, I think, releases, posthumous and released when he was with us, and so it's hard to be a completist. But I really would like all the box sets, and that one I'm just kind of, it's 120 some bucks. I would just have it for the sake of having it. The next, the end of the Flo and Eddie period is when Frank got pushed off the stage at the Royal Albert Hall in 1972. The same time, the same tour that all their equipment was burned up in the fire in Switzerland. What is it? Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water. Frank Zappa and the Mothers were in the same. Yeah. So everything burned up. They lost all their equipment. Finished the tour on borrowed equipment. They're in Royal Albert Hall. At the end of the show, they're playing "I Want to Hold Your Hand" by the Beatles to end the show. At the end of the show, some crazy fan who was jealous because his girlfriend liked Frank came up and pushed him off the stage down into the orchestra pit. It did something to his larynx. It broke multiple bones. He was in the hospital for quite a while, in a wheelchair for like 6 months. And when he got home, he worked on these two amazing albums, which are both in my top 10, Grand Wazoo and Waka Wazoo, which he calls Hot Rats 2. Both, for the most part, are instrumental jazz fusion albums. There are a couple of vocals on here, like Your Mouth, and but great records and great covers too. Then we go to, I think, his most prolific commercial period. These are the albums that people gravitate to, that are most accessible, I guess, the next kind of 3 in a row. Overnight Sensation, which has Montana on it, one of his great songs. Zombie Wolf is on here. Camilo Bro, I'm the Slime. This is a great record. Really is. Apostrophe, also in my top 10. Fantastic record. Every note is great on this record. Highly recommend it. Don't Eat the Yellow Snow is on here. And Cosmic Debris, great blues track. Apostrophe, which is guest bass player, is Jack Bruce, playing a 6-minute instrumental. Brilliant, brilliant record. Apostrophe. Zoodle followed that. Another really good album. I did a video a while ago how to get into Frank Zappa, and I chose this as the one because I think it has the most kind of rock songs on it. Wind Up Working in a Gas Station, Black Napkins, Torture Never Stops. It's a very accessible album. Next, we got, again, one of my top favorites. If I show you my ranking, you'll see Bongo Fury, Frank Zappa and Captain Beefheart. This album is absolutely incredible from start to finish. The performances are great. The songs are great. Starts off with the amazing Deborah Cadabra starts it off, and then Carolina Hardcore Ecstasy. Poofter's Froth, Wyoming, Plans Ahead. Great track. And Muffin Man ends the album. Brilliant record. Brilliant. I just got this on vinyl a while ago after looking for it for so long. I bought it at the record show a couple of weeks ago. I was so happy to get that. Let's go with Joe's Garage. Not one of my favorites. I don't like Joe's Garage and Chic Your Booty. They're very commercial albums with the kind of stupid, childish lyrics, and just not my thing. Sorry. There's certain periods of Zappa, and this is Too Late to Save a Drowning Witch is the album that gave us Valley Girls with Moon. Zappa doing the vocals. That was such a big hit. And yeah, that's my vinyl. So I got about 13, 14 records if you were counting. Just a few things on CD that I would like to point out that I love. How about some live Zappa? That's kind of think I want to concentrate on here because nothing better. First of all, I love this Imaginary Diseases. If you just like heavy blues rock, this album is pretty much very bluesy album. There's a song called Been to Kansas City in A minor, DC Boogie, Farther Oblivion is kind of more the out there song. Montreal is 9 minutes of blues. Imaginary Diseases, Rolo. I mean, this is a really, really good album if you just like good guitar, and man, you should check that out. Imaginary Diseases. Next, I love this one. Does humor belong in music? Great live stuff. It's got Trouble Every Day from early Zappa, and it's got Hot Plate Heaven at the Green Hotel, which is What's New in Baltimore, WPLJ Live, Let's Move to Cleveland, and a killer version of the Allman Brothers Whipping Post is on here. Excellent album. Best Band You Never Heard in Your Life. This is from a later Zappa tour where you had a pretty big band on. They were doing a lot of brass and wind instruments in this band. It was a big band, and they covered a lot. They were supposed to have had a special guest performance that night from Johnny Cash, and he didn't make it, so they continued the show doing Ring of Fire and kind of do a bit of a Johnny parody. But they play lots of parodies of songs in this. Purple Haze, Sunshine of Your Love, that theme from Bonanza, and at the end they do Stairway to Heaven, and Jimmy Page's guitar instrumental is done completely arranged with brass instruments. It sounds friggin' awesome. The Best Band You Never Heard in Your Life, Frank Zappa. This is one of the latest releases. I think this is the last release. There's something else coming out sometime in June, early June. But this is the Mud Club in Munich, Zappa 1980. Not a huge fan of this. There are some great tracks on here. The guitar playing on this is just blistering good all through it. But a lot of this is promoting the stuff from Joe's Garage, especially Disc 3. It's got Joe's Garage on it, Why Does It Hurt When I Pee, and Bobby Brown Goes Down. Those songs just don't appeal to me that much, but incredible guitar on this album. My favorite so far of the Zappa releases, I know I've showed this before, the Roxy Box. This is incredible. It is 7 CDs of the 3 nights or 4 nights Frank spent in LA at the Roxy, making the Roxy and Elsewhere album, and the live video, but just all the backstage, like the rehearsals and all the shows and everything, just amazing. And this is my favorite Zappa band, with Ruth Underwood and Ian Underwood and George Duke and who else is in that band? Napoleon Murphy Brock. I mean, it's just this is just a who's who of incredible musicians that Frank was playing with at this time, around 74, 73. And this is Waka Wazoo, which is probably my second favorite release so far. It's incredible. It's all the alternate takes, demos and whatever for when he was doing Waka Wazoo and Grand Wazoo. Oh man, there's just some incredible stuff on here. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention a couple of incredible ones. Eerie, great box set. This is 6 CDs of Frank's performances over a 2 or 3 year period playing in Eerie, Pennsylvania. And again, great band and great performance. This is an awesome set as well. There's all the CDs. The band. And last but not least, the Hot Rats Sessions. This is 6 CDs of every second of anything to do with the recording of the Hot Rats albums, from just basic piano tracks to just guitar tracks to jams to it's the history of that album being made, and it is such an incredible listen. Someone mentioned the other day, I think on the Hoffman forums in the chat about Zappa, a thread about Zappa, and someone said they were listening to it from start to finish, and I'm going to do that again because it's been a while since I did it. This is kind of a prized possession for me. Amazing. It comes with a board game, a Frank Zappa board game. I don't know. And I have a ton more Zappa, but that's it. So I've been going on for a long time, but I do want to rank my top 10. Maybe not, because I didn't bring them all over here. But anyway, my favorite one is Hot Rats. Number 2, Bongo Fury. Number 3, Apostrophe. Number 4, Waka Jawaka. Number 5, Grand Wazoo. They're kind of tied. I love them both, and they both, were recorded around the same time. Burnt Weenie Sandwich with WPLJ on it. Absolutely Free and Freak Out. The first 2 albums, amazing. Zoodle Lures and Studio Tan, which was released as Studio Tan, Sleep Dirt, and Orchestral Favorites out of the Lather triple album set that he had issues with getting released. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my mother's tribute. Have a great day.